What does pre-construction mean? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the answer to this question, which I think will be pretty insightful and really help us to gather a vision of what it really should be. Something that's not talked about very often. So if you're into that, stay with us. What does pre-construction mean? We hear it all the time, and I say it all the time. For me, I say pre-construction, and I mean anything before the construction project where we're supporting the design and planning the project. That's pre-construction. We hear terms like pre-construction conference. That's where before construction, we're having a conference to get everybody on the same page. And then I call meetings that prepare work in a work package pre-construction meetings. But pre-construction really means the activities done before construction to predict success. Here's a concept that I think you'll love. We don't plan to start, we plan to finish. That means we shouldn't start anything until we're ready to finish it. And so pre-construction really means that it is designed, that it is prepared, that it is permitted, and that it is basically strategically planned in a way that we know we can finish it on time. And I got this from Frank Gehry, not from him personally, but from his quotes. We don't start until we know we can finish on time and for the overall budget, and that there's pretty good certainty that we're going to hit those targets. Pre-construction is crucial, and you've heard me talk about before the book, How Big Things Get Done. In there, they studied over 16,000 representative projects. These are projects from massive home renovations or custom home builds to large bridges or dams, like huge projects, right? Over 16,000 in this database. And only 48% of them finished on budget, and only 8% finished on budget on time, and only 0.5% finished on budget on time the way the owner wanted. Those are our numbers if we don't plan. When you hear the term pre-construction, I'm hoping that you hear, oh my gosh, this is the key to running projects well. And I hope you think if we don't have pre-construction, we're not going to finish well. That is actually a historical fact. It is a statistical fact that pre-construction really sets us up to win on projects. And I love in the book the different examples. There was two examples in there. One was the Sydney Opera House and the other one was the Guggenheim Bilbao. You can look those up, but the Sydney Opera House was 1,440% over its original budget and took 5 years extra to build. And the architect left Australia in disgrace and never saw the finished product. And the Guggenheim Bilbao finished, I believe, a week or 2 weeks early on budget and is literally just as complex in every way as the Sydney Opera House. It's fantastic. And it's basically, that's another Frank Gehry project where experience met experimentation. And so they didn't start that project until they were ready to finish it, meaning they didn't start the project after pre-con until they knew they could finish it for the budget and the time that they had. And that's literally what pre-construction should mean to all of us. Let me cover a couple more things. Pre-construction is where we do the planning before the work begins. That means that we literally on paper should create the overall strategic plan for the entire project, and that we should review that 3 different times. We should tear it apart. Pixar is a good example of that. I got that from the book again. Pixar, by the time you see the movie, it is the 9th movie they've made. And so in construction, typically people will start a construction project and they're planning it while they're starting the earthwork. And that's a commonly accepted thing. That shouldn't be accepted at all. We should have planned the project, torn it apart 3 different times. At a minimum, at least do it once before we start the construction project and break ground. Number 2, pre-construction bridges the gap between conception or the concept that the owner has and the actual execution in the field. And this is the key to lean systems, that the owner is getting what they want because we're in a customer service business. And we hear the voice of the customer, and that everything that we're designing and building will meet that end need. Number 3, our pre-construction efforts are where we identify the scope, we get under budget, we go through our constructability reviews, and we map out our schedule, and we involve early trade partners. Number 4, and this is my favorite, this is where, and if it's your favorite too, you might want to like the video and subscribe to the channel. But this is literally where we try and find our biggest risks and problems and prevent them. We can plan them away. We can cover them with contingency. We can eat it out of fee, which nobody's going to do. or we could do what you shouldn't do, which is called wish thinking. We can't wish problems away, right? So we need to be identifying problems early on. The other thing we need to be doing in pre-construction is identifying a reference class. That means this is our project and we're going to take 15 to 50 or use the service that they showcase in the book, How Big Things Get Done, and use their database where you say, hey, this is the program type in this region. This is how much it cost them. This is how long it took them. And then make sure that you're within that reference class and that you're not hoping for a better outcome. You're not like relying on wish thinking. Number 5, this is the time to align the owners and the designers. Yes, the designers have expectations and the contractors and the end users' expectations all together in one. Number 6, set the foundation for safety, for schedule, for flow right on the project. Make sure that, this is really good. There was a survey done early on in my career. This was like 2003 or something like that. But they did a massive survey over a range of a number of clients, and they surveyed what's the most important thing. And they said in addition to having a good quality project on time the way they wanted, it was how they got there. So making sure that you're working with the team to get to the end in the teaming and in a proper way, in a non-nightmarish way, is a huge consideration, and you have to plan all that in pre-construction. And lastly, pre-construction is literally our opportunity to make sure that we can do it for the budget and under time. If you don't do this, if you don't do pre-construction, then nobody has any idea if we're going to be under budget. Nobody has any idea if we're going to finish on time. Nobody has any idea if the end users will like it. Nobody has any idea what the biggest risks are going to be, and it's going to be a crap show the entire time. And you are going to spend money hand over fist. The project is going to take a lot longer than you think. There's going to be fighting and contention throughout. There's going to be massive problems, and worst case scenario, you might have to mothball it or you might kill somebody. And so pre-construction means, and literally I'm going to distill it down to this definition, that you can do the project well, and you cannot do the project well if you don't have pre-construction. So that's what it means. And I hope if you come to the video, you have a clearer perspective and that you'll check out that book. In the description below, I'm going to turn this into a list and a blog post for you, and then also offer to reach out to us at any time. We're here to help. And there's a really cool book that we have, Elevating Pre-Construction Planning, that I hope you'll check out that will help you plan in pre-con. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.